Good morning, this is Tom Remington. Welcome to another exciting episode of Open Air with Tom Remington. Today's episode is entitled Tiger Woods and Infidelity 101. We're going to do a little show and tell first. This is a golf ball. I bet most of you knew that. This is money. If you can hit one of these wherever you want to hit it the vast majority of the time and put it in the hole where it belongs, you can make a lot of these. Okay? This is a man. This is a woman. If you'll notice, this woman has different assets from this man, and those assets get this man in a lot of trouble with this. Don't we all know that, huh? Hey, look, I'm not here to sit in judgment of Tiger Woods. I feel sorry that he's, that he made the stupid decisions that he did, and I feel even worse for his wife and his family and what they have to go through. I hope they resolve this. I hope he doesn't do this again, and I hope they all live happily ever after and look back on this dark time in their life as a learning experience that made them better, stronger people in the end. But we'll see. That's up to them and what they decide to do. Most people don't understand because they've never been around it, and I have to a small degree, so I understand a little bit. Tiger Woods isn't a stupid guy. I mean, he attended Stanford University, and not anybody can get into Stanford University. Of course, it helps if you're Tiger Woods, but still, they do have standards. Trust me. I know a little bit about the admissions process. My daughter's a graduate of Stanford University. Of course, had to get that in there. And but his these decisions weren't real smart, and we all talk about these people in these positions of power and how they think they become invincible, and those things are probably all true. But I don't want to make excuses for the guy, but maybe to help you understand perhaps some of the process that brought him to that point of making bad decisions. We go back to if you've never known a world-class athlete or read about them or that sort of stuff, this might be a little difficult, but I'll try to help you understand it as best that I can. World-class athletes don't just decide, well, I think I'm going to play baseball and be a starting pitcher for the New York Yankees. It doesn't happen that way. We know with Tiger Woods, he was hitting a golf ball when he was, three years old or something like that? And world-class athletes begin usually at very young ages, and they sacrifice all of the things that you and I, us normal people, do every day. Lots of times they don't even attend regular schools. They're tutored. They're not exposed to the same peer pressures and we won't get into the bad part. We'll just talk about it in general terms. And they're not. They just don't have an understanding so much of what the real world is like us normal people do. And so they start at a very young age, and they go through life, and hopefully they achieve their dream of becoming the world's best golfer, in this case, as Tiger Woods did. But what happened along the way, we really have no idea. Excuse me. I think it's safe to say that Tiger Woods didn't have a normal upbringing. And he doesn't have a normal life now. Now, that's not an excuse for infidelity. No, I'm not trying to make it as an excuse. But let me help you understand a little bit more about this. A few years ago, I met a gentleman, one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. His name is Dickie Noles. Some of you may recognize that name. Most of you probably don't. No offense to you, Dickie. Dickie Noles had a respectable career as a pitcher in the professional ranks. His longest stint at pitching was with the Baltimore Orioles, and then I think he finished his career up with the Philadelphia Phillies. And when I met him, which was several years ago now, and I haven't been in contact with him for the last few years, he was working for the Philadelphia Phillies, the world champion Philadelphia Phillies, and he was a counselor. And, Dickie and I would chat, we'd chat about baseball, we'd chat about life in general. He told me a little bit about his family, that sort of stuff. He never shared with me any intimate details about anybody that he was a counselor with. And that's the professional that he was. But he did tell me, I asked him what he did, and he told me he worked for the Phillies, and he was a counselor for the players. And I said, well, what do you counsel them about? Other than, the obvious things, if they got problems, I guess they could go to him and talk to them. But he was telling me that one of the things, probably one of the major things that he has to do is he has to spend time with particularly the young ball players who make it into the big leagues. And this is what he explained to me, and I'm going to try to pass it on in the best way that I remember it, and they're not exactly his words. Most of these players land at his doorstep having lived one of those lives of not being normal. A lot of them come from poor backgrounds. They are really kind of clueless about the real world, and they're completely clueless about, now that they're a professional athlete, what's going to happen to them. The first major shock to them is they have a lot of money, a lot of this stuff. They've never had it before, so they need counseling on what to do with it. The other thing that they don't understand is there are a lot of these people now throwing themselves at their feet, wanting them because, that rock star status and money too. And they just don't know how to handle themselves. So Dickie's job was to tell these people, hey, you're going to have a lot of this, and you're going to have many of these, and hopefully if you mess around with many of these, you're going to lose all of this, and you won't have this to, earn any more money with. And so, that's it. They don't get to learn these experiences growing up, and because they've sacrificed it all to become the world-class athletes or whatever it is that they do. And I'm sure that played a role somehow in this with Tiger Woods. Like I said, he's not a stupid guy, but you throw one of these in front of anybody, and God made us in a way that that stuff looks pretty good, but we got to have the discipline and whatnot. And when we make a commitment to a marriage and a family, that's where a commitment should be, and nothing else. And I hope that Tiger and his wife, Eileen, and his children, that they work out these differences and they can move on and become better people for it. And I'm not going to sit in judgment of anything he's done or they've done. There's enough people that are going to do that too. But I thought I'd just share some of my own experiences, that sort of stuff with you, and I hope that you've enjoyed that. And we'll see you next time right here on Open Air with Tom Remington.